All right. Another week, another Centre Circle podcast. We've had what some would call the biggest game of the Premier League season so far. So a few bits to get into. Today I am joined by Bins and Keat. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, I'm all good.
All
I'm good.
Yeah?
Can't complain. I'm happy actually.
Team gets 3 points. It's a good weekend. Isn't it?
Oh, okay. That's how we're starting, yeah? All right, Mr. Miami. Just relaxing. What's this now? Episode 71?
That's all right.
Episode 71. So let's get straight to it. We're recording today on Sunday. Arsenal were away to Manchester City. The game ended 2-2. A lot of the build-up to this game was about how it was a chess match and, Arsenal had gone there, nullified the game and they had to attack, etc., etc. And both teams normally a bit defensive. Then it kicks off. And immediately I'm thinking, Kai Havertz might go. But, that little incident, that was straight from kickoff, less than 30 seconds in, Kai Havertz is, someone's tried to block his press and he said, no, I'm just going to run.
Yeah.
Who did he knock over? Rodri. Knocked over Rodri. And I thought, here we go. I thought, red card early. Just something that's going to disrupt what the game should be, which seems to happen to us quite a bit. But I think initially it was Man City that had the better start. Vince, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they did have the better start. I think a bit of nerves played into it for us. I think it was like we just came back from Europe. They're a bit fresher. They're 1 day fresher than us, and it was a big occasion because it was like that's our third big game in technically Tottenham, Atlanta, and then Man City. That's emotionally and physically, that's a lot that we don't comprehend. So what's that? 3 games in 7 days?
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but we started to just make our mark back in and pick it back up and start to show for ourselves.
But before we got to that point, though, Savinho receives the ball on the right. His first touch is mental, takes him inside. Calafiori was wondering where he was.
Yeah.
And he plays Haaland through. He finishes, I don't know, it was like a 5-a-side finish. It was like...
It's like he toe-punted it.
Huh?
It's like he toe-punted it, isn't it?
It was like an outside of the boot with no spin on the ball.
Yeah.
He just kicked it straight. And there's so many things with that goal, how easily Calafiori got turned. I don't know where Gabriel Satnav was taking him. He went fishing. And I don't know why he's gone across so early, essentially, because there was already cover on that side. There was already 2 players on that side. And by the time he recovers and Saliba comes over, Haaland's steaming through. But at that point, I'm not worried. And I think what I should say now is, I don't think our ability to win the league is predicated on whether we beat City or not. Like, I don't actually agree with everyone saying you need to beat Man. I can understand what this means symbolically, but just on pure maths and logic, I can name 2 or 3 other games last season.
Yeah,
that cost you the league.
That cost us the league, and it wasn't the Man City games, right? Yeah. Don't lose them, obviously for various momentum and other reasons. So when he scored early on, I'm not that worried, and I think the days of getting slapped 3 or 4-0, those days are over. Yeah. So at worst, if we lose the game, it's not a respectable loss, but you know what I mean. It's a loss through maybe quality or one or two areas, and then Arsenal start to get back in the game, and Calamari, as you call him, Keat, he rocks up with a great finish for equaliser.
Yeah, it was really good, and it was a little bit against the run of play, and I think just before the goal, Rodri goes off injured. And I think that disrupts Manchester City's rhythm more than I would have expected it to. But we can get into the semantics about where the free kick was taken from. Was it in the right place? And Kyle Walker was called over to the referee to have a word, and then the referee didn't let him get back in position.
Well, he did.
But just context on what you're referencing. So there was some anger from Man City because Calafiori's goal came from a free kick within Arsenal's half, cross-field ball. Martinelli gets that ball on the left-hand side. But the referee had called Kyle Walker over to have a chat, as it's only captains now that can talk to the ref. and he feels like he wasn't allowed to get back into position.
I disagree.
I mean, I disagree. What do you think?
Yeah, I
As the
disagree.
supposed
Like,
neutral here.
at the time they stopped having the conversation, there's a lot of time between the ball actually being played and him getting back into position. And there's a lot of football between that happening and the goal going in. And it was a really good finish. Like, I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting maybe like a touch and a floated cross, etc. But fair play to the kid.
Yeah.
He puts it in. It wasn't exactly top corner, but it was a really good finish.
Why do you disagree with that, with their anger?
When I saw the passage of play or the incident, the moment, what took up to it was the ref called him over, etc., etc. They've had a discussion. He's jogged back. Then he spent time pointing and arguing another point rather than looking over his shoulder. So he got back into position and then he was pointing for about half a second, going, "Oh, the ball's wherever it's meant to be," and then it got played over his head. Actually, we was quite, even though I've been, looking at the I think playing, sorry, what I should say, playing Walker kind of played into Arsenal's hand. He's not fully match sharp. You know, he was playing with more aggression than football intelligence, actually, today.
Which he always does.
Pardon? Today in particular, he was relying on his physicality, you know. And actually Martinelli just capitalised on that, and it was a good battle. I think, you know, he's gotten some unfair stick in terms of Martinelli, in terms of, you know, he's not contributing enough and etc. Yeah. However, what people are failing to look and analyse is what he's contributing defensively and offensively in terms of pegging back or pushing back the fullback.
The critique isn't unfair though. It's not unfair. It's fair.
It's fair, but what I mean, sometimes we're being...
I don't think he's scored since January or something stupid like that.
Yeah, like today was his first assist in 7 months.
I think both things are true. Yeah. But I think you're right. The defense, what he brings to the team defensively is overlooked. I agree. Yeah. But I think the critique of his attacking contribution is fair.
Yeah. It is fair. But I think it's one of those things, like I said, if you look into the other reasons, it's about, he brings a bit of balance.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking
If you're Arteta, that noise is whatever, right?
Yeah.
Even without that attacking contribution, we improved as a team for obvious reasons. And Martinelli is a piece of that defensive stability, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the clock is ticking on him. But that's a separate question. Well, today, this was his best, this first half was his best 45 minutes of football for a long time.
And I think he made a statement today, like Martinelli, in terms of defensively and offensively, and pushed it.
No, I think the jury's still out.
I think defensively he made a statement.
Yeah.
But I think he made a statement to say, I deserve another go in this position rather than being swapped out. That's what I mean in that sense.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
So, but the goal was a great finish. He took it early.
Yeah, cool keeper unawares.
That was a great...
It's one of those situations, that was a fan, you know, we know best in it.
Yeah.
So he's shaping up and I'm like, we did. Just cross the ball, we did.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right, yeah. Finish.
Quality, because he knew it was going in.
He was like, I felt good.
Did you see that?
But do you think that, I don't know, we'd have to ask him, but I see things like that and I think, you know, the part he played or didn't play, more accurately, in the goal, would have been weighing on his mind. You know, do you think there's a bit of misguided, he's fired up, he wants to, I'm going to try something silly.
Like a redemption.
Yeah, to get myself, and then it comes off. Do you know what I mean? Because unless, look, I didn't watch him play that much in Italy, unless he's the kind of defender that likes to take a pop now and again. But that was a super finish. And it wasn't that high. It wasn't like top wins.
Yeah.
So I am surprised it beat Edison. But again, Edison's probably setting himself for a cross.
Yeah.
He's probably setting himself to watch it across and get ready for a phase.
But yeah,
the books.
I think he just took it so early. Like you said, Edison was like, okay, you're going to stop it and knock it in. Oh, shoot. And
So then at that point, it's 1-1. It's like, as you say, a little bit against run of play. But Rodri's off now. Kovacic is on. And Arsenal's settling in. I think we still have this thing a little bit where we play the occasion rather than play the game. And that's how I felt in the early stages of that game. You know, Man City they were popping. You know, Bernardo Silva was coming into that right-hand pocket and causing problems. And then Calafiori had 2 issues. 1, what do I do with this guy? Where's the cover come from? And 2, one-on-one, Savinho's first touch, more often than not, was setting up whatever he wanted to do next.
Yeah.
You know, Savinho is proper stuff.
Yeah,
so Calafiori grew into the game.
I think what I've noticed with Calafiori is he uses a lot of aggression sometimes, and sometimes the aggression's not warranted. So hence the first goal was like, I'm gonna and then he got caught.
Almost
Yeah.
what early days Gabriel, a bit like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Paul, a bit like what Martinez does for the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Lissandro Martinez, Man
Yeah.
United, like literally. So then now, Arsenal settle into the game. Then the set pieces start turning up,
Mm.
and Arsenal have a corner. And I think this whole thing with Arsenal set pieces, everyone talks about the set piece coach, etc., etc. Jamie Carragher made a good point in commentary. He's like, look, all of that's well and good, yeah. You can make all the right runs in the box and all of that.
Yeah. You got
But if the delivery is not spot on, all of that's irrelevant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pointless.
And the consistency of Saka's deliveries from that side on the corners
Spot on.
is
Yeah,
spot on.
get the right pace,
You know.
the right height.
So the corner comes in, I think it's about the 40 or 41st minute, something like that. And again, Gabriel gets up back post and he misses it, right? And you look at that replay, you think, you got to score that. That's a big miss. I think I read one
that
of
was
the
a
groups.
mismatch
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that was a
Him
big
against
miss.
Doku.
And before the corner was taken, I was thinking, why is Doku marking
that's
Gabriel?
poor.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense. And I still find it funny that teams at this level still have those mismatches. They still allow that to happen, right?
You know, maybe in the preseason he's got the highest jump or something like
Yeah,
that.
something stupid, some stat in there on the iPad
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah, exactly. So there's all the discourse about that. And then you notice, again, this is where the set piece coach earns his money. Because actually, the two crucial elements to those corners is one, not letting the keeper get anywhere near enough space to recover the ball. You know,
Yeah.
come out, lead with their knees, hands up, and all of that. And of course, the consistency of the delivery. So it happens again, which is what leads to Arsenal's goal to put them 2-1. Martinelli clearly, Ben White's not around, is he? He's on the
Yeah.
bench. So he's normal, and he's been found out. So they switched it out. And Martinelli effectively, he doesn't block the keeper on purpose.
Just turns
He just stands
and turns.
where, and turns around. He just stands where the keeper would want to go.
Mm.
So he's not effectively doing anything, but he's just in the wrong place. And then Arsenal pack the back post with as many people as possible, which means Man City have to do the same because they're marking the players, right? They're And then, Saka delivers another great cross. They switch this time. Kyle Walker's marking Gabriel. Gabriel loses him, gives him the shimmy like a world-class striker. Heads to back post. I mean, the header's not the greatest header. Comes off the side of his head, but he knows what he did. If it hits me here, it's going in. I'm not putting any power. And it's 2-1, and there's big inquiry. Kyle Walker's getting pelters from Pep again
Yeah.
Yeah.
about...
Because he done all that gamesmanship. It was nonsense.
It was silly. So yeah, Arsenal set pieces, again, high quality, great execution, and that puts them 2-1. What do you think about the whole the off the ball tactics? Martinelli standing where he's standing, Ben White troubling the keeper.
Oh, it's brilliant. And I said it in a group chat, like one of the best things about the Arsenal corners is affecting the goalkeeper without touching him. So you can see as the ball's about to be crossed, you can see 2 or 3 Arsenal players just kind of swarming around the keeper. But, like back in the day, you'd have someone stand on the goalkeeper from the off.
Yeah.
They don't do that. It's like, right, the ball's going to come in now. If we're standing 2 yards in front of him, if he runs out and we're just standing here, we can't get it done for. We're not jumping.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a goalkeeper to kind of jump over 2 or 3 players. And in essence, he just runs into them. And
You
just
almost help him if you're
crumbles.
challenging up for the ball as well. You almost help the keeper.
Yeah, it's it. And yes, it's a brilliant tactic. And I think because it's been highlighted so much now, teams are going to try and look to counter it. But if you get the delivery right and you get the, not gamesmanship right, but the personnel right.
If you get the other structures of your set piece.
Yeah.
Right, it's going to work.
Surely that guy, I hope he's got a good agent, the set piece coach, he's got to be on a goal bonus, surely.
And I think the other thing that we're not acknowledging is the physical height of our players at the moment.
Yeah.
Big. So even if the teams are going to set up against us and be like, all right, we've got to mark this, it's like you're facing 3-4 people that are 6 foot plus.
Yeah,
And
your starting team is not short.
Yeah.
Like all your defenders are, like Timber's not massive, but
he's
bar him.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it starts tall at the back and then gets short as you get to
Yeah.
the front, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then there was an angle at back post when they showed everyone there, and I was like, okay, you got Calafiori was there,
He's
Saliba
big.
was there, Gabriel's there. I was just like, And they're not the shortest team. They come from the same school of thought, right?
Yeah.
So Diaz is not a short guy. Stones, all these guys, they're not short guys, but still, yeah, we've got a physically imposing defense and an attacking threat. Kai Havertz is not short, and again, we know his physical profile. Is one of the reasons for them bringing him in, so he's in the mix as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it's that classic. You scored before halftime, so we've kind of gone from it looking like Man City. We've got vintage Man City bopping Arsenal off the pitch at home.
Yeah.
Arsenal a little bit playing the game. Haaland goes through, scores a goal. You're like, okay, here we go. To getting in at half time, leading with again another quality goal and a set piece goal. We're all good. Then Leandro Trossard happens. So to one of the major talking points of the game, and for those of you who were on Mars on Sunday and are now back on as you hear this on Tuesday, literally in first half stoppage time. It must have been like 48 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? So let me check. I'll tell you right now when he got set. Wow, actually.
It was late.
53rd minute.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was late.
45 plus 8. It was the 53rd minute. Trossard goes crashing into the back of Bernardo Silva. It's one of those fouls that as a fan watching it, you're like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
But again, I'm not the one that's been running around for 45 minutes,
Yeah.
being antagonized, blah, blah, blah. So the foul was bad enough, and I thought, you're already in the yellow. And then the ball, as he's done that, the ball's dropped to him, and as Michael Oliver blows the whistle, he volleys the ball away, right?
Have it.
Literally, you're playing best stoppage time. I want to get the ball away from the goal. That's it. And he gets a second yellow card for kicking the ball away. Bint, what do you think about that whole passage of play?
Yeah, it was crazy. I personally thought initially when he got the yellow, it was for the foul against Bernardo.
Yeah.
So I think Michael Oliver's let himself down by saying, "Oh, it's for kicking the ball away." Because for me, it was the foul against Bernardo because that was overly aggressive. He couldn't have won the ball. You just steamrolled into the back of him.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, that's the yellow. Can't really argue."
Because you get
that.
yellow for that. You can't complain.
You can't.
But Haaland done that same thing to Saliba in the first half or earlier in the half, and he didn't book him. So I don't think he could have booked Trossard for that.
I don't think that
Are
comes
you
past the
suggesting that
referees.
Michael Oliver has a concept of consistency?
Yeah, I don't think that's when you said, I'm like,
He might
I
have.
think consistency matters in this situation.
Yeah.
No. So when I've heard it's for that, I'm like, so I was very disappointed in that. But again, begrudgingly, it's the letter of the law, innit? Like if you feel there's stop and play or the restart, you got to go with it.
And like, no, I think it was. Like I knew it was for the kick away when it happened because he didn't draw for the card until after he kicked the ball away. And I think if he just kind of tapped it away, it might. But he like booted it,
Yeah.
and you can see like as he tried to boot, he's like, "Oh, should I be kicking it this hard?" So he tried to kind of pull out, but he's already committed.
He's emotional.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
but,
when he
but, the whistle,
committed.
but the whistle blew as he was already joined.
I think
As
it
he
was
was
like
already
a
joined,
second.
he was already joined to kick the ball.
Yeah.
As the whistle blew,
Yeah,
right?
but I think
I was
as
about
he
to
was
say-
in the motion of doing it, he
Yeah.
realised, "Oh, I'm on a yellow already. I shouldn't be doing this."
But even that,
So I
that
think
shouldn't-
his protest was a bit.
but even that shouldn't matter because you're either kicking the ball away or not. And this is the problem, right? You either follow the letter of the law
Yeah.
or you have common sense. Because now everyone's going to talk about the fact that
Yeah.
Silva did similar in the game, didn't get booked.
Doku.
And Doku earlier on did the same, but didn't get booked. The excuse they're going to use for Doku is that he was kicking the ball back to where
He thought
free kick
Oliver,
was the free kick
where the free kick was. But he clearly wasn't because he kicked it way harder.
and Rice was where the free kick was.
Exactly.
supposed to be.
Rice was exactly where the free kick was and he kicked it faster.
But he signalled like it should be there, ref.
Nah. I think it's all seconds and times, and I think it's unfortunately because everything happened within a millisecond of it.
Yeah.
So that the whistle got blown. He's in motion of kicking.
Yeah.
He fouled Silva all within the 1 second, and then it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think ultimately there's a couple of things at play here. One, Trossard, stupid challenge. Right? It's end of the first half. We're 2-1 up. You're near the halfway line. I don't care
he's
what
going backwards as well.
Bernardo's facing his goal.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful player, but nothing's happening there. Put him under pressure, all of that, that's cool. So it's a stupid foul, number one. Right? And then number two, I don't know. I've never been a fan of Michael Oliver. The commentators mentioned him as he's England's top referee. If he's England's top referee,
Yeah.
that's a sad indictment on the state of refereeing in this country. Like,
Yeah.
he's
we know that.
they're poor. The
Yeah.
consistency is poor. And I think there's just a massive lack of accountability when it comes to referees. You're not allowed to talk about them. You're not allowed to say they've had a bad performance. It's a difficult job. So
They're not
what?
allowed to be questioned or interviewed.
But we don't have any concept of how they're going to improve, how Howard Webb and the PGMO are going to try and improve
The standard,
refereeing, what the
consistency.
accountability looks like. They say there's assessors at every game. You know, Daz used to always talk about there's assessors at every game. Yeah, but what do they do with that?
Yeah.
It's all behind closed doors. And is it meaningful? Is there meaningful accountability and improvement? And I think everybody else in the game has to have that.
Yeah.
Or your role at that level is in jeopardy. But they don't.
Yeah.
And I think what doesn't help them at the moment, because there were some bad VAR calls this weekend, the handball, the Martinez foul,
Yeah.
and then the recording from the red card for Rice.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well. Look after yourself out there. So I'm like, So like you said, you got the assessors, but are the assessors holding them accountable for poor decisions consistently? Or are they protecting them going, well, we don't have many refs, so, we're going to look after you for the next game.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Anyway, so all that happens. This is all in the first half, by the way.
Yeah.
This is all first half. It's 2-1. We've had a send it off. This is all in the first half. And then, Arsenal have to come back out second half.
Mm-hmm.
Saka is subbed.
Yeah.
Who comes on?
Ben White.
Ben White.
Sorry, Ben White comes on, and it's effectively 5-4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
I knew
five.
it'd be the lowest of blocks.
What? I tell you
Ever.
what, but I didn't expect that.
I knew it.
I thought it was going to be
called it.
5-3-1. I thought it was going to be 5-3-1. I thought
Nah.
I called it in one of my
Serious?
groups. I was like 5-4-0. Like
Yeah.
that's
straight,
it.
yeah.
Like
For 45 minutes. I
Yeah.
thought, wow. I thought what he might do is change it a little bit. So Martinelli's the outlet, and Havertz is in, being physical. He
because
runs
he
a
can-
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, man, it was straight 5-4. Like, parking the bus. Mourinho would have been proud of that.
Yeah.
And do you know why I'm not too surprised at that? Because even in the first half, you guys Arsenal were playing the better football, and Man City were they were lost a little bit. They weren't kind of trying those penetrating balls through the middle, etc. It was very slow, build up, etc. And he's like, well, if I put another person in there,
Yeah.
it's just gonna help
gonna
us
dead.
even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand it, and
And-
I'm here for it, man. Like a lot of people, like you guys got a bit of stick last week for like not being as attacking at Tottenham, etc. And it's like, this isn't the Arsenal we know. It's like, well, this is Arsenal. This is like Arsenal's foundation. 1-0 to Arsenal. That
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you want in it? Like you can't be free flowing all the time.
Well-
You got to know when to shut up shop and
But also,
But it's
what
not-
they ignore is that to play a style of football, you need certain personnel.
Yeah.
So, and there's no shame in saying that that free flowing attacking football, that link, and the way we play across that
Odegaard.
front four, Odegaard is key to that.
Yeah.
He's the actual nucleus of that. So if he's not there, we have to play a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's
100%.
absolutely no shame in saying that because they don't grow Odegaards on trees, right? So again, I think it's just it's today, innit? Everyone has to say something. Everyone has to tweet something. So it's just lazy thinking. We got the win. We beat Tottenham at their own ground again. We've gone to Atalanta again without your someone that is crucial to your structure. It's a bit like the season before we lost the league before that time, right?
Yeah.
Remember? And everyone said whatever. So look, I'm not too fussed about that, but it was a surprise. It came at second half, and I said it to someone. I said, "Can we do this for 45, 50 minutes?" And my mate, who's a Man United supporter, said, I think you guys can actually.
Yeah.
I think you guys can. What I was surprised about, we talked about this off mic a little bit, was I actually thought it was going to be a little bit harder than it was. So the way City played was very much in front of us. There were a couple of times where they seemed like they were going to get in behind, but the quality of the crosses weren't great. Doku seemed to only have one idea about what he was going to try and do. I didn't see him go out on the outside once. I don't know whether he's not allowed tactically or something. He didn't try and go on the outside of Timber.
I just think Timber just scared him from doing that. I
fair
think he
enough.
just realised he couldn't match Timber for the strength or pay. Like Timber can keep up with him.
Yeah.
I was
And
just
then,
like,
and then when you get to a point where you're reduced to Diaz and those guys and Vardy and those guys taking shots from outside the box. If centre backs are taking shots from outside the box, you do something right.
Yeah.
And the thing I was surprised with, Diaz most probably had the most touches in the second half.
Yeah.
And it's like, it weren't until maybe like the last, 5 or 10 minutes where Foden kind of dropped into the pocket where he was and was trying to be that creator.
Yeah.
I was like, well, for 40 minutes, Diaz has been that person picking up the ball, passing it left, passing it right.
And I'm surprised
having a
Silva
shot.
didn't come in and do that. Or
Yeah, so
someone,
I expected someone else because Diaz isn't the guy to thread the ball through. And
I think there's a couple of surprises there because one, like you said, he left Diaz there. Technically, we've gone down to 10 men. Take one of the centre backs off and bring in another attacking player.
Yeah.
And he kept it the same. So I don't know what Pep was kind of.
I hear that, but Pep also knows. Again, it's back to chess, and I said it. In my mind, I was thinking, if Pep takes off one of those defenders and brings an attacker, if I'm Arteta, I'm bringing on someone to be an outlet.
I don't think Arteta was going to do that though.
But it's not even that. It's that even if you have a counter or you have a set piece, that the lack of that defender is a problem.
And you already talked about the height, right?
Yeah.
So if I take off one of those guys, it's long.
Yeah, but I think
to be fair, he brought on John Stones, who's and he brought on John Stones. He said to win deals up front, right?
Yeah.
But I can, it kind of goes both ways. It kind of goes both ways. And Pep, rightly so, maybe thinking I shouldn't need to do that. I've got enough attacking talent on the pitch. I shouldn't need to do that. I'll add to it. I've got enough on there.
He said they need to figure it out sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
but there was also a lack of movement. It was very static.
Yeah, it was just side to side.
If you watch it and you see the imagery, Arsenal's back 5-on-4, it's very easy to see, right? But then City's shape mirrored ours. You just had everyone, Man City player on each of the back five.
Yeah.
And then you had the rest of them in front of or in and around the middle four. And sometimes they were just stepping on the ball like, okay, what do we do here? No one's moving. And there was such a lack of movement, both laterally and
and I think the way the backline drilled and the focus that they had, like the focus is incredible because they were like, we're not getting distracted by your runs.
Must have been so tiring.
You can. It was tight, but they're like, yeah, you made that run. It's all right. We're not going to chase you. You're not going to open us up. And they stuck to their guns.
Yeah, fair.
Rice and Party, his ancestors must have sent him some power today because physically he was up and down. He was in the duels.
He was very disciplined today. You could see like he was doing all the triggers they talked about. There were times when he was, even when we had 11 men and they had the ball in front of our block, he would only come out at certain times, go back. It's the most disciplined I've seen him play. So there were times with the ball it could have been better, but it won't be talked about. But this first stint of the Arsenal season, Party has been just as important part of the structure and how he played as
so like today he was good, Rice was good. Again, Martinelli was defensively really very good.
all your guys done the job they had to do, man. Like people try and knock it, say the anti-football, blah blah blah. I'm here for it, man.
But to wrap it up, and then I think literally the last minute, almost the last kick of the game. By this time, Pep has made some subs. Grealish is on, and and it's so funny. The commentators called it. It's type like this. You just got to shoot a deflection or something might make it work for you. I can't remember who took the shot. And then Reyes dived for it, and then it falls into John Stones, and reliable John Stones strikes it. Of all the defenders, that is the guy they wanted to drop to.
Yeah.
Him and Akanji seem to be decent at finishing off chances. And then it's 2-2. And 2-2 with 10 men away at Etihad is no shame. But when you've been 2-1 for 50 minutes at this point with 10 men, it's hard to take.
Yeah, little kick in the teeth. But big up Ray had a good game.
Yeah, really good one. I'm not gonna lie, me and Leandro would have a little bump of shoulders still when I get it. It was unnecessary foul, man. It was unnecessary. But yeah, really good game. From a neutral point of view, that must have been good. It was a full-blooded Clash of the Titans type game again.
Yeah.
As an Arsenal fan, I did not enjoy most of that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it
was
the
unnecessary
aggression from the desire to win by both teams.
Yeah.
The intense, like you could see it, and it like kicked off on the bench when he got the equaliser, and
Yeah.
it was like a good old.
Haaland's getting a little bit too big for his boots. Someone needs to tell him, listen.
Yeah, he's allowed, man.
No,
When you hit the numbers, 100 and 105.
This is why I like them old school. This is where you want like as much as he's his punditry today was alarming. This is where you need someone like Roy Keane to be like, I don't care if you're 7 foot, I will clap you, bro.
Yeah,
Relax. You don't talk to my team like that. You don't. That's why I miss a little bit of that. You know, like Paul Liss or someone be like, I'm gonna do you vibes. Yeah. Haaland needs one of them still. I think he's getting his feet. But when he gets like that, it's because he's frustrated.
Yeah.
Because he had that one chance, he took it. But
After that.
yeah, exactly.
No.
So yeah, great game. Arsenal remain undefeated. So did City. And yeah, another occasion where Arsenal have gone there not lost, but that win still lose them. But again, I don't think it makes a difference, if I'm honest, whether the league is won by someone else other than City or not. So moving on, West Ham versus Chelsea. West Ham is another team. So much is said about them. Everyone's got an opinion. But I'm not going to lie. Right now, they are looking okay. Nicholas Jackson, you know, I don't know why it took Obi Mikel's words to heart for him to start showing up, but he's looking like someone who's showing up every week. Don't get me wrong, West Ham's poor defending.
Everything was
helped there. But they're starting to look like a team that's possibly coming a bit together. Sancho started again. I think he got the assist for the first goal.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So it just seems to be forming. I'm not saying they're going to be top 4 or anything. Well, I did say that, actually. But what I'm saying is they're not at that level yet, but they're going in the right direction, essentially.
No, I agree. They are going in the right direction, but it's such a tricky one for the Chelsea fans because they can't get too excited because obviously West Ham was that poor.
Yeah.
Wolves were poor as well. So is it glossing over the gaps that they have or but however, when you got that much amount of attacking threats on the bench and on the pitch, you're guaranteed goals. And I think Caicedo's finding his rhythm again. He's starting to turn up and starting to look like the player that they purchased. And a couple other guys. Cucurella's looking like the left back that they thought he was going to be, and he's inverting. But West Ham were very, very poor. Unbelievable poor. I can't believe how bad they are at this moment in time.
Well, if you look at Jackson's second goal, so firstly he scores in the first 4 minutes. His first goal's 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at Jackson's second goal, it was akin to Haaland's one today. It was so easy and simple. He just slid through, runs through the middle of the defense, and slots it in. Goals at this level should not be that easy.
Yeah.
Should not be that easy. And then Cole Palmer's finish. I mean, he finished off the post, near post. That was intentional. He looked up and said, "Yeah, keeper, you haven't got your angles covered." That's what I'm saying. That finish was crazy,
proper
top level. He's really playing top of his game. Clean sheet away from home, 3-0 scoreline. I mean, for all the talk, he's banished players. I think he could have still done that better, but it's looking okay.
Yeah, it is. Okay. And like you compare their start to last season, they've got double the amount of points at the same time as last season. So they're on an upward curve. I think with the Europa League, doing the Conference League, they'll be able to rest a lot of players. I don't think they put Palmer
Palmer's not that squad.
And 2 other quite established first teamers in the squad. And yeah, they're doing all right. I think they're just gonna try and get a settled team and squad. Maybe not rotate too much because it took Pochettino quite a while to figure out what his best 11 was. And I think Maresca's going to get there a lot quicker than what Pochettino did.
Yeah.
And
I think he's going to be able to dine out on some of Pochettino's work.
Yeah.
I don't think
he's best. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
They're playing the same formation.
I was going to, and I don't think this 11 is too far from what Pochettino arrived at.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe Colwill.
Yeah, the defense it will be more Maresca's.
Yeah.
But and I think he'll get performances quicker than what Pochettino did as well. Like Caicedo rarely gave you a 7 out of 10 last season. Enzo was a bit iffy, you know what I mean?
But again, I think that's a function of time. I would argue we would see some of this if Pochettino was still there now. He did that.
Because Caicedo started performing towards the end of the
season. He was at the beginning of all the pure gym era, right? So I'm not saying Maresca's in doing good work, but I'm glad you pointed out because I just think these are some of the things where when a manager says, they need time, or look at Arteta, right?
Yeah.
These are kind of the things. He might have been doing it different than Maresca, but some of that would have settled.
Yeah,
some of that would have
definitely.
settled. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
So,
But
West
I
Ham.
think West Ham. Like we had the discussion many times last season,
Go on.
saying, well, what do West Ham fans want? They're getting above their station, etc. Kind of don't bite the hand that feeds you. And for me now, I'm like,
If you dare,
what?
don't go on.
No,
Please don't say what I think you're gonna say.
No, I'm just saying, you got to give Lopetegui time.
Oh,
But right now, it's looking like they
what?
should not have got rid of Moyes.
Oh, get out of here, man.
I'm just saying right now.
Or
I'm just saying
JWP.
right now. Huh?
Or James Ward-Prowse.
or James Ward-Prowse.
All right.
just saying- I'm just saying-
Mackay's gone.
James
Like, it's
Ward-Prowse didn't
early.
even do that much there. What is wrong with
It's
you?
early.
Balance.
Oh, shut up,
The
man.
key to football is balance, you know. Like, can we not ignore that? Like, the key to a
Look,
good football team is
Well,
having balance.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, okay, I'm gonna read what. So last year, Iriola started off really badly at Bournemouth, but you can see there was a big difference between the style of football he was playing and Gary O'Neill.
Yeah.
There's no discerning difference now between what West Ham are doing under Lopetegui compared to what Moyes was doing.
Did he even have a good time at Wolves? I don't think he did he?
He had a decent
No,
time.
he had a decent time.
Yeah,
he had a decent time. That's why he stayed in England after he got sacked. He stayed in England because he wanted to prove himself again.
Man,
And I'm
yeah,
saying
but
there's no
you need
real
to pay this guy
difference.
some respect. This is
No,
not a little man.
I am.
Listen.
And like I said, it's very early. Like Iriola started really badly last year and then got in the top 10. This may happen, but right now, in terms of style of play, there's no real difference.
I think that the Moyes thing wasn't just style of play, it was personal as well. And that was the point I made. I did say that, right? Starting on a regular basis, again, no disrespect to Mikel Antonio, but if you want to go in a certain direction now at that stage of career, that's not the level of player. Look around you, look at what people are doing. So, one was personnel, but style of play. Bruv, we weren't seeing Iriola's style of play after 4 games. We were seeing players running around, getting played through. We weren't seeing that. So he needs time. And I think there's 2 separate things. One thing is missing Moyes, and another thing is whether you've got the right man to replace him. Lopetegui might not be the right man to replace him. It doesn't mean Moyes should have stayed.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's 2 separate
Okay, what I should have said.
No.
He
Stick
might
by your
not have been
guns.
the
Stick
right
by your
player.
guns.
No, I'm just saying,
I'm backing Moyes. I'm backing Moyes.
It's 2 separate things though.
No, but
Do you see what I
I'm
mean?
still backing Moyes. I hear what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no,
You're
I hear
right.
that.
You're
And-
right.
He's been backed heavily in the transfer market
What?
as well.
Thank
Like,
you.
heavily.
Yeah, I
Get
can't
rid
get
of
that one.
Zuma for Mafropanos. No, come on, like.
Yeah, Kilman, 40 odd million. Somerville, 30 odd million.
2 weeks ago, Keith was saying Kilman's a dope signing.
No, he is.
No,
but
he's-
I'm
Nicholas
saying
Jackson made him look like Casper.
no, but I'm saying if you've been backed to that extent, you need to. First time they've lost 3 games, their first 3 home games in the Premier League.
Oh.
Like these stats mean something, innit?
But- no, it's true.
Again, VAR let down themselves.
Oh, the penalty. Oh,
penalty.
yeah. Yeah, that was, yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah. But,
No, like I see Baba getting held. I was like, all right, that's a pen.
Yeah.
Not
Did
a
they say
pen.
it wasn't the pullback wasn't sufficient
Oh, sorry.
or
Side
yeah.
note, though, do you see?
they're physics teachers now.
Did you
Yeah?
see Hendrick's penalty?
Yeah. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. So yeah, look, I think there's a couple of things on the Chelsea story, right? Obviously, Jackson, last season, a lot of talk was about the chances he missed, composer, etc. But I think sensible people acknowledged his work rate, his movement.
And he was
all
getting
that.
Yeah.
chances. He
Right,
was,
yeah,
he was
he
making
was in the
chances.
right
He's
place,
been
isn't
in the place for.
So I think it seems like, a bit more work, a bit more confidence in himself, and that's starting to come together a little bit. Go on.
I think he's also got the most non-penalty goals now. Out of like Solanke,
Salah. Yeah.
Havertz, all of them. Like, so I think he's just quietly going under the radar and people
Yeah.
not respecting him. I might need to get him in my fantasy team still.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and then I think there's a slow burning
Mm.
Jadon Sancho story here, right? No one's gonna talk about it or anything, but if he keeps starting and keeps contributing to games,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a convo. So if we fast forward to March, right? Chelsea are hovering 5th, fighting for 4th, and then you've kind of got this nucleus, this Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer,
Madueke.
Jackson, Madueke, Sancho. There has to be a convo.
Yeah.
There has to be a convo. Whilst you're labouring up there with the the attacking
Dion.
double pivot of Mount and Bruno,
Yeah.
Ahmad, etc. There definitely has to be a convo about choices and decisions.
Yeah.
I think, but and let's even if we forget being a part of a team that made it to Champions League final last season.
Yeah.
I think there's a slow burning story. Not talking about it, but let it carry on.
Yeah.
Or the alternative is it happens again, and we have to say, Jaden, you're the common denominator
Yeah, 100%.
now because that's 3 top clubs now.
But I also got to give Maresca credit because he dropped Neto. He's like, no, you're not working. Like Sancho had a good game.
Yeah.
I'm starting you. And that's that. Like some managers might say, all right, I'm going to bring you on again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring you on again with half an hour. He said, nah, you're 45 that you came on the other night.
Good
That
enough.
deserves you a start. You're going to start. And he's turned up for him again.
Yeah.
So that's 2 assists in 2.
No,
Not bad at all.
It's good. Just run through some of the other results. Aston Villa 3, Wolves 1. Wolves got off the front foot early. What's his name? Matthias Cunha. Good finish
Yeah, it was.
from some
Mistake.
woeful defending.
Yeah.
Mistake. I always feel for defenders. You make a mistake, maybe get away with it, or you make a mistake and 2 passes later, it punishes you. Man made a mistake and before he could breathe, it was bulging. Boom, bang, got off for the mistake. But then, they kind of kept it going. But then Wolves were all over them. And then Ollie Watkins turns up in the 73rd minute to equalise. You're thinking, okay, all right. Then Ezri Konza gets a finish in the box, Fox in the box finish.
Yeah, he was determined to get to that ball.
But trust me,
I
that
don't-
ball wasn't passing him.
Like his body position was mad when he actually connected with the ball. But
Because I saw it's a low cross across the box from Tielemans. And I kind of thought, who is that?
No, it was a high one. It came
It was
in
high.
high
Oh,
at the
yeah,
back
sorry,
post.
yeah.
And he kind of flew in.
And then I was
With the
thinking, who is
outside of his
that?
right
But when I
foot.
saw the body position, I said, yeah, you're definitely one of the defenders. Definitely. So at that point, that's the winner. And then John Duran.
4th.
Then Duran.
Duran. Yeah, saying Duran.
Then John
Oh.
Duran comes on. Because he had the goal disallowed earlier on, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had a
It
goal
was offside. I think it was just offside.
Yeah, just offside.
What, yesterday?
Yeah, he had
Oh,
a goal.
I missed that.
So
A
because
tapping from Ramsey's cross, I think.
yeah, and he it was a good finish as well. And I thought again,
Yeah,
and
because his goal, disallowed goal midweek,
yes,
the finish was tidy.
yep.
Very tidy.
So John Duran again, and Aston Villa have got a nice competitive pressure up now because you don't drop Watkins, right? He's a talisman there, and he scores, but you got to give Duran enough minutes
To keep him
going.
Keep him happy.
So inevitably, I think one of the wingers suffers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That he just changes the shape a little bit, and one of those guys suffer. So good 3-0 home, 3-1 home win for Villa. Obviously, that game's a bit of a derby as well.
Just another note, they're not missing Louise. I thought they'd be missing that.
Yeah,
They're not missing him one.
yeah, but you know what? Though? Rodgers is moving mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
fantastic.
And then with Barkley to come on as well.
Yeah.
And
Anana's doing well.
Nana's doing okay.
Yeah.
And Tielemans did all right as well.
Shut me
Yeah.
up.
Tielemans has been doing all right. Doing all right. They said he can't move. He lacks mobility. Blah blah blah. Well,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Credit to Emery. and Villa.
Fulham 3, Newcastle 1. This was like I was gonna say something bad, but it's Arsenal old boys club. I won't use that word.
Yeah.
I mean, another early goal in this game. Jimenez, great goal.
Good finish.
Yeah, Traore actually got a ball into the box. And then Jimenez chested it down. It's old school like
Striker.
back to goal. Yeah,
Yeah.
chested it down, turn and bang. I mean, centre back. Do you want to make him a cup of tea as well? I don't know what's going on there. It's one of those ones. It landed on the back, like metal bit of the goal. You hear that noise.
hear that noise.
It didn't even roll. It just bang. So again, that was another move that kind of happened. I didn't realize it until I saw him in the Fulham show, whatever window it happened, and it seemed like a weird one at the time. But it's looking like it was a shrewd signing for them anyway. If he scores 10 goals a season, that's value for money at that end of the table. I think.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Then Smith Rowe, again, good finish.
I still think the keeper should have saved it. Though.
He should have saved it.
It was
but-
a
He
snap
made it
shot,
happen.
but
Yeah, and then the approach play was nice as well. They've got this nice kind of interchanging play with the
him
front
and
line.
Iwobi and
Him and
Smith Rowe
Iwobi,
link up nicely.
even Jimenez as well.
the
Traore, yeah,
I
but
think the only thing I'm worried about Fulham is they're a bit light.
oh,
in terms of
very.
Squad. Yeah.
No, not even the size. I just got physically.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Like physically light. I don't think they've got enough
where
physical
though? Because
presence.
like they added, I think another thing I was gonna say on the other side, you know, and adding Anderson from Palace was a great
I
signing.
mean the midfield though.
Okay, fine.
The midfield
Yeah.
is a bit like when I look at the midfield.
Apart from Traore.
But yeah, apart from him, but he's just a
Because who plays in the middle for them? Who's their centre midfield pairing?
Sierra
Lukic.
and Lukic.
Lukic.
Oh,
Pierre and
fair.
Lukic are the two kind
Yeah.
of sitters, and then
Yeah.
I think that's where they're gonna get stuck.
And then Reece Nelson, well, so after Smith Rowe, Harvey Barnes gets
Yeah.
one back.
Good
Decent
finish. Yeah, got 3 and 3
But if he stays fit,
Nah.
he must be knocking on the door. He should be knocking on the
for
door.
England.
For
Yeah.
England. Yeah, I think
If
so.
he stays fit, because he scores goals.
I mean, if Gordon's in there, why shouldn't he? I
True.
think right now in form, he's more effective than Gordon at the moment, right? And just technically, he's just demonstrating some really good consistency. I think.
And I think if you look at his history with Leicester as well,
Mm.
he always scored good goals. He just
Yeah.
can't stay fit.
yeah,
he's
I
a
loved the
proper
whole.
shout.
It was very.
Being a bit snobbish. I feel that.
Yeah, it's that top four.
Yeah, no, I
kinda,
was being
yeah,
a bit
acting like,
snobbish.
you know.
Like, Harvey Barnes.
So we just got to work on you now, so you can admit the same with Bowen. But we'll get there.
Get
Yeah.
out of it.
But what I liked about his goal, it was very. You know that way you do shooting drills, very
Yeah,
shooting
yeah,
drill-esque. Get free out your ball, pass.
Yeah.
But I love them slide rule finishes into
Yeah.
the corner. And it's bittersweet in it because you're losing it. It's 2-1.
Yeah.
You wanna enjoy the goal, but you're losing. And then Reece Nelson ball breaks him in the box, and emphatic
Bruno.
finish.
What's
Yeah.
he doing?
Oh my gosh!
Bruv, I saw it. I was like, nah, what's it?
You know what makes it worse? There's another defender they can set the ball to clear the ball.
Yeah.
Literally.
Just wanted
But
to
I'm
do it
Bruno.
himself.
I'm a captain. I'm Brazilian, innit? So I
Yeah.
can- no,
But you're told that early, never pass the ball across your box, innit? Like, unless you're
no, I don't agree with that.
I don't
no,
agree
not
with
when
that
they're
either.
not
I
when
don't agree with that, but don't force things. That's the
Yeah.
rule
Yeah.
he's breaking. Don't
Yeah.
force things when they're not on. Someone's in front of you. You're losing 2-1. So
Yeah,
actually, there's an opportunity to.
And he's looking like, I can get it around him.
Yeah. I've got this.
Not
I don't even
quite.
know who he was passing to. I looked at the replay of that. Who you passing to? Who you actually trying to pass to? But gave Reece Nelson a free start as Fulham life. So yeah, hopefully that loan does him well and we can sell him in the summer.
Yeah.
Leicester 1, Everton 1. Njai,
Good goal.
yeah, nice finish.
mate, nice finish. But even his overall play, good feet.
Yeah.
He's direct. He's got decent composure on the ball. I mean, he's probably turned up 6 months too late. But
I was like, oh, let me see where this guy came from. He started at Boreham Wood.
yeah. And then he went to Europe and then came back.
Came back,
Rising
yeah.
Ballers
Oh,
and those
okay.
guys and Secret Scout, they talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
And I
I
thought,
was like, Boreham Wood. And then he went to, I can't remember the French team. And
Marseille.
then got bought for 18 euros.
but the interesting thing, when they bought him, I thought, okay, well, I didn't realize just bought for 18 million euros. And I wouldn't have thought what I thought. I thought, is this going to be one of those ones where he comes in and he maybe doesn't play much, but they gave him the number 10 and quite frankly, he seems like, him and, what's his name? The left-footed guy from Burnley, they bought from Burnley.
McNeil.
Yeah. Seems like him and McNeil are going to be the main ones trying to make stuff happen and do anything. Jack Harrison, has kind of faded away a little bit. So, yeah, he scores a great goal to start with. Then the commentator says, well, based on how recent weeks have gone, let's...
No, he was out of order for that. I heard that as well. I was like,
come on,
it's
mate.
true, though.
Relax. But he was right in the end. And they held on. There were chances. Everton did make chances. Everton had chances. I think Calvert-Lewin had one he should have finished. But Everton are looking... Everton, and I never thought I'd say this about Essendon Dusty, but they don't look... If I didn't show you the table, they weren't playing like a team that's in the position that they're in. It actually looked decent. They were moving the ball. They were being attacking. It wasn't just all long ball. It was decent. It was
But it's
decent.
quality, ain't it? It's just come down to quality.
but it's
Remember we had this
defensive.
discussion about last
They've
season.
done it the back way. They do not the wrong way around, but it's the defense. It's the defense. That's the
No,
problem.
And I hear you. But remember we sat down last season, looked at their team and said, these are championship quality players.
Yeah,
And that's the reality of it.
so you get a spike now and again, but on average, you're fair. And to your point, Leicester equalised 73rd minute.
Yeah.
So I believe this is Everton's first point of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they won't go down.
I
But-
think they will.
Yeah, we said that every year. They won't go down, but
I just think the ones that have come up are not as clinical enough
yeah,
to kind of push them down.
agreed. Let's see that story goes. I think Leicester aren't doing the worst job. But yeah, I think that 1-1 was probably where it should have ended up.
Mhm.
But Sean Dyche might be a little bit more disappointed than the Leicester team. Mr. Cooper. Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 0. I thought this was going to be a rout. Like it was. Diaz scored 2 in 2 minutes. I thought, are we going for another 6-7 here?
Yeah.
But not the case. Mr. Kepa. I'm not even going to butcher your surname by
Again, bar.
Bruv, what was he doing?
It was nonsense. Like your defenders are there; they can control the situation.
No, my thing
You've
is,
just
if you get there, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, because it's not like one of those phases where you're the sweeper, like the high line's been broken and
Yeah.
just you and the attacker, so you're coming out.
So you got to take it. Yeah,
He's-
Like you say, defenders. So if you had got there, what were you actually going to do? Just boot it out. It wasn't worth it. Great pass from Konate, but and it wasn't an easy finish. Diaz still had a little bit of work to do.
Yeah.
the
the
control
kind of-
was nice.
Yeah, but the kind of confidence is in at the moment. Good finish. Puts it away. And then again, Trent Alexander-Arnold for the second goal.
Yeah,
At
give
that
him too much
point,
space.
yeah, you
To come
guys were on it.
through,
He's galloped through like he's a centre mid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and that's weird for Bournemouth because again,
They're
they're usually quite
compact and-
structured.
Yeah.
They work quite hard. It's space is difficult to come by. And then 5 minutes later, Nunes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was thinking, just pass it to Salah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna, because Salah was free. Salah done a good run, and I was like, yeah, just dink it into Salah.
Nope.
Salah can head it, and he was like, no.
No, man.
Even Slot said the same thing. He was like, yeah, I didn't want him to shoot, but he proved me wrong. I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
And he's and he needed that goal, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah,
looked like he was
100%.
crying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he needed that
Like,
goal.
brother, you're
Yeah,
right.
at least.
And Slot looks like he's not been that many games, but he doesn't come across as a sentimentality manager.
Nah, Dutch, innit? We were saying this last
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
The Dutch are just
Yeah,
very matter of fact to the point.
So if he starts scoring goals, then Jota is on the bench. I don't know if it's an injury or
No,
it's
it's
a
just
switch up.
yeah,
I think he's just rotating.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
just
so
some rotation.
you score your goal, and that's why he was like, okay, I've taken my chance now. Jota may be back in next week, but I can just see it being a little bit more based. Well, we saw that with Trent being subbed first couple of games. So yeah, it's interesting. I like when managers run teams like that.
Yeah, we were a bit lucky though. Like Bournemouth scored a very good goal that was
Good.
just offside.
Yeah,
Obviously, if that counts, then you don't know how the game's gonna
yeah, true.
pan out.
But
And your keeper pulled off a good save, didn't he?
Oh yeah, when the hit the crossbar and then hit Trent, and
Yeah,
it was like
that's
trickling in,
Yeah,
and
he got off the line. Yeah.
But he said he needs to go next season, basically. So
he can play.
yeah, like
Of course.
he's too good to be a number 2.
Yeah,
Like you
definitely.
compared to Kepa,
yeah,
like he could easily start for Bournemouth
yeah.
and
true.
those kind of teams. So yeah, let's
But
see.
I know you're away at Anfield, but conceding 3 goals in 11 minutes is alarming.
Yeah.
You need to have a look at that.
Yeah, we were good first half,
Yeah.
and then we dropped the pace a bit second half. But
Another good win. Southampton 1, Ipswich 1. I'll be honest, I didn't see much of this game. It was the second to last game of match of the day, which tells you everything you need to know.
I think Billy made a mark from because he scored, didn't he? Billy?
Yeah, Tyler did.
Yeah.
And then I think because he had a decent game against Chelsea a couple of weeks before, and
yeah, some good finishes though.
And then 90 plus 5. Another late goal.
Yeah,
Fancying we've done it again. Because that was the same thing happened in Southampton Ipswich game last season. So a point each for those guys. I think they both came back down, to be honest. Tottenham 3, Brentford 1.
that was the VAR incident, weren't it?
Which one?
I think, but what's the goalkeeper? Vicario?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
handballed
handballed,
it,
he handballed it outside.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember why VAR couldn't. Why they couldn't intervene? Like it
probably
wasn't.
another made up rule.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Um,
Mbuemo's finish was
Listen,
tidy.
first minute in the game. First minute in the game, it's
It's
not
a
even.
gamble worth taking for another team, for a top, like a
Bruv,
team in a higher.
I was literally having this conversation yesterday and saying, you look around the league, right? And you start to say, right, Tottenham, are you better off with Mbeumo in your team or Timo Werner? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You just start saying who should, maybe even a Palace,
Yeah.
Crystal Palace or someone. But is that a sidestep from Brentford? Discuss.
they're kind of level.
You know,
playing field,
so-
aren't they?
There's definitely, I think I don't know whether it's profile or whatever it is. He's definitely. I think he's been consistent enough now in the Premier League.
3 seasons.
Yeah, that he's playing below where he should be. I think and it doesn't have to be England, right? There could be a decent team in Italy or somewhere or Germany, but he consistently shows a level of quality that I think.
He's GA double figures. I think.
Yeah,
I think consistently GA.
Yeah,
like
that's
double
not
figures.
bad.
But after that, Solanke gets his first goal, tap in, but it doesn't matter. It comes, man. There's a striker, big money move. Need your first goal. It's coming the 4th or 5th game. Good. Let's see. Well, it depends who you support, but I'm always happy to see players do well, right? He's come from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He's gone the long way around, innit? Chelsea, Liverpool, all of that. Did his time, gone down to Championship, come back. Brennan Johnson. Good finish. He had one earlier, kind of similar angle, and he dragged it.
He dragged it wide.
He said, this time, nah. Buried it, and then a little bit of emotion, finger to the lips.
Yeah, because he deleted his Instagram.
Yeah, he was getting
after last week's game.
Yeah,
scored midweek, scored the winner against Coventry in the League Cup. Scored yesterday.
So good week for him. And then James Maddison, the enigma.
Yeah, he must have heard the pod last week. We were critiquing their forward line, so they must.
Mate, and I've been backing him. There's a little bit of a Bruno versus Maddison thing going on in one of my groups, innit?
Yeah.
So after the Arsenal game, I resigned from Team Madison. And then he chips a goal in left-footed.
Yeah, quality.
So I had to reapply for my space back on Team Members.
Yeah.
But look, I think they needed this. It's a Brentford team that's hurt by injuries, etc. But you got to win your games, you got to win your home games. So I think after the Arsenal game, I think Ange needed these 2 results, man. Bit of indication for what he's doing. But with the investment you guys have made and where you're saying you want to go, you're not going to get judged on beating Brentford 3-1 at home.
Yeah, definitely. I think Brentford's one of those teams at the moment. They keep on shopping in the bargain aisle, looking for something like really special. Like you go on Amazon, you see something. Oh, that's
But they're data driven, right? So as far as they're concerned, their model will work more often than it's not. But I guess what's the point you're making that? At the end of the day, that's fine for a while.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to. Yeah, fair. But didn't they spend? No, they did that though. They spent money on the big money striker, and he's injured. That's what it is. Didn't they spend 40 million on him? 45 million? I say big money, but big money for them.
Yeah, and he got
he got an injury, so he's out to like Christmas or something. So to be fair to them, they've taken their approach to invest a bit more. They knew they were going to lose Tony for a decent amount, and then the guy comes and gets injured. Crazy.
And then, like you said, Tottenham just needs to like consistently. Aside from being an Arsenal fan, but looking at them objectively, there's a lot of issues in that squad. I think, and part of it is the manager's fault, but part of it is just the players that are not good enough.
Yeah, and again, being fair, not with my Arsenal fan hat on, we know how long it takes to reshape a squad that isn't yours, right? So this is what. When did he get here? Beginning of last season?
Ange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it takes time. There's still a lot of players in there that weren't his. He got handed some good players, Udogie, etc. That patch, the Italian,
But
the
he
Earth
doesn't
brought
help
in.
himself when he signed Werner.
Yes.
The second time. I think the first time you can be like, right, it's on loan.
But isn't it another loan or is it Pam?
Nah, it's another loan.
It's another loan.
It's another loan. Yeah.
I wouldn't even sign him on the loan.
No, I agree. So, and again, this is where the director of football, all that stuff comes in as well. How much of that? Because in every signing, there's a balance now, right?
Yeah.
There'll be some players the manager wanted more than the kind of technical staff wanted, and vice versa. So, who knows? But yeah, that one is a strange one for me. It's clear he's not of that level. We thought he was after that Red Bull stint. He came to Chelsea, didn't work.
Yeah.
Brought him back. I don't think it really worked either. And then you sign him back again. But it could be cover. I don't know how much he's playing. He's coming in as a sub.
I think he's a squad man. I don't think he's there.
Yeah. He's not starting games or anything. So, but again, that's to my point earlier. You look at an Mbeumo or someone. But hey, anyway, opposite side to be fair. There was a board draw in South Norwood. Crystal Palace, Man United. Interesting team selection from Senor Ten Hag. Left Marcus Rashford on the bench after he'd started scoring.
Confusion on your toes.
Yeah. Confusion. Maybe he's read the motivational handbook the other way around.
Yeah.
Eze had 2 good chances in this game, man.
Yeah, Brucci, you're not respecting my fantasy team, bro. That would have been a good boost. yesterday.
Sorry, to go back to the Newcastle Fulham game. Did you see the chance Fabian Schär missed in the game?
Oh yeah.
Oh my days! It came back to me when we talk about missed
Which is
chances.
unusual for him because he's got a decent finish on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
dude. So
No. Someone did one today. Who did one today? It's a
Brighton.
good segue to Brighton Forest. Chris Wood. It was offside anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But wow, it was bad. It was they're the
Yeah.
6-yard box and he's just blasted it wide, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
that's the real you. But yeah, Brighton to Nottingham Forest to the other game today. Chris Wood puts Forest ahead after a penalty. It's a penalty.
I'm about to say, you debating the penalty?
No, it's a penalty, but it's one of them was where I feel sorry for the defender. Do you know what I mean? But again, Hudson-Odoi hustles, kind of gets in front of the defender, but he got in front of the defender for the foul.
Do that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there was a little bit of, I'm going to clatter into you, but I'm first to the ball, so I'm going to get the penalty. Chris Wood puts it away quite comfortably. And after that, it was a fairly even game. Well, no, actually, I take that back. Forest they didn't let Brighton settle. They didn't let Brighton get into their patterns of play, etc. So it was looking like Forest were on top.
Yeah.
Then one cross and header later, like it was a decent cross. There was a little bit of a deflection, I think, from Gibbs White, but good header from Hinshelwood.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, just before half time, 42 minutes, all good. And then Danny Welbeck turns up with a free kick out of nowhere. I didn't even know he took free kicks.
Yeah, his first free kick he scored in the Prem.
And he had to do it today.
Keeper should be doing better on his side though.
Nah,
That
man.
was a good free kick.
Wow.
It was a good free kick, but you set your wall up to cover your right.
Yeah.
You take the left. He didn't move.
Dude, I don't know if he's even getting to that.
I don't think that's
At
like,
least
he didn't
try.
move. He didn't, no, I think
Nah, bro.
you know what he's going in.
And I think he was a little bit onside by Gibbs White as well. He was a little bit onside by Gibbs White. I mean, he didn't even go over the wall. He went keeper side and he went side netting. Like it couldn't have been any he couldn't have been any more in the side without going posting in.
Yeah.
So before you know it, in the space of 3 minutes, you've gone from 1-0 down to 1-0 up to 2-1 down.
Yeah.
But they bring it back later on in the half. And I think Forest, I want to say they're unbeaten this season. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, they might be.
Let me see the league table. Yeah. So, yeah, a bit disappointing for them, but actually Brighton at home, you take that result.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
definitely.
get a draw.
Yeah, they've gone to Anfield and Amex and got 4 points.
Yeah.
So it's not bad at all.
So very, so very decent, decent stuff from Forest. And as it stands, the current top four is Man City on 13 points, Liverpool on 12 points, Villa on 12 points as well, and Arsenal fourth with 11 points, 5 played. Chelsea are fifth.
You'd
10
be
points.
the closest to being right in the top 4 prediction, just in the wrong order, wouldn't you,
Yeah.
Adrian?
Mm.
But still early days.
Chelsea are hanging around, Newcastle are hanging around. Yeah, interesting. It's shaping up a little bit. There's I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and some guys did some analysis over the years, and effectively after 10 games, there's
The table doesn't move much. Yeah.
the table doesn't move much. It's starting to set.
You might
Effectively.
get one that kind of breaks the trend, but generally,
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the range of movement. So after 10 games, people might move up and down 1 or 2 places, but
they
you don't
stay.
see a man going from 11th to 4th or anything like that, or staying there anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see where we are after 10 games. I guess for fans of teams in the top 4, that's largely irrelevant because it is a 1 or 2 place movement that you need. So yeah, as long as you're in and around the top 4 is what you expect. But we currently have the same top 4 as last season. So yeah. Anyway, as always, the Premier is not the only competition in town. The new Champions League format kicked in this week, which, like all things, it was talked about quite a lot, but it was interesting when it actually happened. So the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday thing was a bit different for me. I forgot the things were being played on Thursday, so that was a bit different. And there's been some talk, for example, Arsenal played Thursday and they played today, but teams played on Thursday in the Europa League and had to play on a Sunday in the Premier League. So it's no different in my mind. It's the same thing.
I think because of the the game that Arsenal had next, the
Yeah.
size of the occasion,
Mm.
they wanted it to be a full-blooded game with everyone fully fit.
Yeah.
So I can understand
mate,
that grind, but it's here nor there. They get the same amount of days of rest and thingy. So
And it was a decent week in the Champions League, not a great week, right? So Man City drew.
Yeah.
Arsenal drew away to Atalanta.
Liverpool won.
Liverpool won.
Villa won.
And then Villa won emphatically. First time they'll be back in Champions League for some time. And they've got probably a decent Champions League history.
Yeah.
But just haven't been in around it for some time. So that was good. And the club had an emotional week. One of their greats passed away as well. I think he was in the team that won the European Cup
Yeah,
as well.
it was.
So yeah, good win for them. Good win for Liverpool, but 2 other draws. So not disastrous. But it opened up the conversation about how many games are being played.
Mm.
It also felt a bit strange for people as well, because when the league table comes out, I think obviously we always had the group stages, right? But we called them group stages. And you had a league table for the group stages. So it was just small. 4 teams, who's won.
At one point.
But now you see it as a big kind of aggregated league table. It seemed to just stoke some emotion at people because it felt like they were looking at another league alongside the Premier League or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's effectively Super League reincarnate.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think what a few of the broadcasts have done, which is pretty clever, they've broken it up into 3 chunks.
Yeah.
So they've given you the top 8, which
Yes.
automatically
Just go
go
straight,
through.
yeah.
Then they give you the middle 16.
Yeah.
And then they give you the bottom 8.
Yeah.
So it kind of breaks it up a little bit rather than looking at one
Big table.
big table of
Yeah.
36 teams. In terms of the competition, I think it's all right. Give it 2-3 years. No one's going to care
Yeah.
what it is. They just want to be in it. And
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine. In terms of the games being played, I kind of back the players. I think the physical demand on players are being too much now.
Wait, sorry, before we go into that, sorry,
Yeah, sorry.
before we go into that, I guess the other part I was going to make about the scheduling. So you've got the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Champions League, which then means your Europa League is the week after.
And the conference league. So basically every European competition has their own week.
There's their own week,
Now,
which
yeah.
I think is a slightly different dynamic now because you would have a European week with all the
Yeah.
competitions played that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there almost a danger now that actually no one's going to care about the Europa League and Conference League next week? There was always a little bit of a run-on from the Champions League.
yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Champions League,
Thursday.
Europa League, Conference League, Thursday. Or actually, it just means that Europa League and Conference League, they've got their own days. And actually now, being in the Conference League, in the Europa League, might not necessarily penalise you for your league game because you might play on a Wednesday.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
think having their own
Week.
week, you'll get more eyes on the competition.
Yeah,
You're not competing with the Champions League week, etc.
yeah.
Like there's not gonna be an overload.
Yeah,
you get
okay.
like game fatigue sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll watch the game Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Am I gonna watch a game Thursday? Where now you have Wednesday, Thursday for Europa League, and then Wednesday, Thursday the following week for the Conference League. Conference League is always a bit anyway.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So sorry, yeah, I think go on.
Yeah, no, just back to what Keith was saying about too many games as well.
Yeah. So I agree with the players. I do agree with the players. However, I think there has to be a trade-off somewhere, right? So the teams, the big teams, they want to play more games. They want to play more lucrative games, I should say, right? They want to play more lucrative games because there's more things to pay for. Let's be honest, player salaries now, are at a different level at the top of the game, right?
Yeah.
The £500,000 a week is an outlier at the moment, but the way we're going in 2 or 3 years, that won't be far from the average in the top teams, right? If you take the Real Madrids, the Arsenals, Man Cities, Liverpools. So I do think that we should have less games, I agree. But then there has to be like a plateau in the salary inflation and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There has to be. The two can't carry on.
Yeah, definitely. You can't be asking for that, but you want this.
Yeah. And before people start saying, oh, I'm not correlating the amount they earn to the amount they play, innit?
Yeah.
I could pay you £1 million a day. There's only so much football your body can play. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, yes, when they reduce the games, that will all they won't. But if they would reduce the games, then everyone just has to take a little bit of a check on what money that generates and how to generate it. Because it's getting pretty unsustainable. Ticket prices, if you follow a top team, it's crazy. Merchandising, Arsenal releasing something new for people to buy every day. It seems now,
and then Sky Sports,
and all that stuff. So I think everyone's gone on the sentimental side of the conversation correctly, which is we don't want players to burn out. If you want the quality of the games to remain at a certain level, we need to just find a balance. But I don't think you find that balance without also having a conversation about the amount of money. The wage bill is the biggest cost of some of these clubs by far.
And I think just on the touching on the resting part, look at Haaland. He had a full summer break.
Yeah, people
and look at his quality of finishing. And I'm not saying he wouldn't have scored those goals, but he just looks a bit edgier.
Enjoyed the break.
Yeah.
But the only you know what I'm gonna say. The only problem I have with examples like that is we could probably find another player who had a break and he's started the season off terribly.
Yeah,
it's very anecdotal.
You're right, but I'm just looking at that's the marquee player. That's like an elite player. And you're just seeing him taking the game.
Yeah, but this all kind of stems down to the organisations, because you've got the Premier League, which is predominantly, it's the most profitable league in world football, by far. And then you go above that, it's like, well, the Premier League TV deal is X amount of billions.
Yeah. And their games don't move. It's been 38 games for the longest.
Yeah.
Done.
And then you go to UEFA, and UEFA are like, Premier League are getting all this money. How are we going to get in this? We've got to tweak the Champions League and to ward off the Super League.
But I think that the latter bit you said there's the key bit. That's the Super League's the main driver.
And that's that. And then you go above that, so you take into context the World Club Cup that's happening next summer. FIFA like, well, UEFA getting all this money from the Champions League. We're only getting money every 4 years, realistically, for the World Cup.
Yeah.
We need something to generate money in between that. So they've created this bigger World Club Cup, which is essentially like a World Cup, which is going to run for, I think it's like 3 weeks next summer. So the Premier League will finish a week or two later. This competition is going to start. And then the Premier League starts like however many weeks after that. So,
but can't clubs not enter?
Money.
This is it. Like, it's going back to you want the money.
Yeah, but how much money are they? No, actually, I tell a lie. I was going to say how much money are they getting for the Club World Cup? But actually, I read yesterday, I think if you win the Club World Cup, it's 100 million.
Yeah, it's in Qatar, remember? That's why they're doing it. Like, it's a Saudi thing. So...
Is it in Qatar? Saudi?
Sorry, apologies. Yeah, wrong with that. It's a Middle East thing.
Boy.
So it's money.
Yeah, it's money. So that's why it's all about these organisations wanting the revenue.
So essentially, what we're seeing is the cost of fragmentation, basically. Like UEFA are not aligned with FIFA. We've seen that there's a little bit, etc. Look, like I said, I agree with the reduction of games or the reductions of games that players will play. So I've seen stuff like where there can be a cap. You can't play any more than 60 games a season or something like that. But then you get into other problems because then you're limiting someone's earnings.
Yeah.
And then it's not based on performance or anything like that. But I just think, to be honest, I think I said this to you guys, I think we're just going to get to a point where it's just a proper squad game. So, for a long time, Man City have dominated because they've had a squad where the quality dip from the first 11 to the bench was absolutely minimal. It was the smallest drop-off in the league, right? Yeah. You're just going to get to a point where actually that drop-off across teams just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, are you going to need to spend as much money as Man City have to construct that type of team? I don't think so. Which brings it back to Chelsea. And I think even though the way they've gone about it is ridiculous and overblown, etc., you might actually get to this point where, in 2 years' time, their squad's massive now. You would argue and say talent-wise because of who they've bought, etc. Forget the Cole Palmers, etc., and all that stuff. They try to build a squad where the average level of capability isn't that far. All these young
Across
players.
the board, yeah.
So you can get 2 years later, you'll have all these youngest players, 24, 25, who have played 100, 150 professional games, got a decent amount of experience. They might be best poised to deal with all of these games.
Yeah.
Or they might be in a really good situation. And they've spent a lot of money to do it. But I just think a director of football in the future, actually, what you're trying to do is build a 20-man squad. And I don't think people try and do that today. I think they try and build 11, 15 players of
20
decent
players.
qualities. But actually, you're trying to build a 20 to 27 man squad that any 11 of them could be the strongest first 11.
Yeah, you call up a player
Yeah.
and they slot straight
That's
in.
it, yeah.
And the thing is, as well, in terms of like the amount of game time, like Rodri said, our players could go on strike, etc. There's only a small percentage
Thank
of
you. I was
players
just
that
about to
are
say.
affected by this.
Yeah,
and
but-
it's the players that are playing for the
Bruv,
top
even
teams.
if you're in the Premiership,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't play that many games unless you play for the top 5 or 6 teams
Yeah.
in the Prem.
No, you're right.
It's
Like,
it.
you got out of the Champions League before Christmas.
That's it. You're good.
You know, you might
Yeah.
play 45 games that season, 50 games that season.
yeah.
So
And to John's point, if as a player you're that concerned about your welfare playing too many games, have it in your contract. I can only play
60 games.
X amount of games a season.
Yeah.
Because like the too many games that I saw it, I was like, oh, what? Carling Cup on Tuesday and Wednesday. I was like, rah. Like, but then this is where you use your squad. You say, all right, I'm gonna play the youngers and some of
Yeah.
the guys, the fringe players, and etc. So
Now, the only thing I would say is to have the conversation in the proper context, we've got to include international games as well, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, and that's where the span of effect on players is a lot wider, right? Because we've got lots more countries getting to certain standard international games now. So you could
They
be
have to
a championship player. They play 42 games a season or something, or
Yeah, 42.
they play 42 games a season. You play enough. You play some FA Cup. You play some Carling Cup.
and then
And you play for your
international.
country. You could be a championship player and play 65 games a season. You could,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you're right. As a percentage of professional players, there's probably a small percentage of them who go through that. But if you look at it across the world, it is a lot. You got the South American, North American Gold Cup. You got Copa America. You got this. You got that. So there's definitely some alignment that needs to happen around the playing calendar. But unfortunately, the bit I struggle with a bit is everyone gets up in arms, right? Everyone does the moral thing. But everybody that is talking now has benefited from the explosion and the expansion of the game. They all have.
Yeah.
All the podcasters, all the journalists, all the Sky people, everyone's yapping. If the game hadn't grown and exploded the way it has, the investment in there, you wouldn't, the ecosystem that's built up around it wouldn't exist for you to be earning
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
And I think that's what. But then
That's why I find it-
the quality in it. That's what they.
True, but I find the lack of acknowledgement of that point.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just, I just find it
It's easy.
surprising.
It's easy.
Yeah, no, it is.
We've got so many
Very
podcasts
true.
every week, so many YouTube. This, the whole thing around it. The Athletic is a lovely example of this, right? You know, if football wasn't what it was, they don't buy that Football Weekly podcast. You
Yeah.
guys aren't
Subscription.
making the money you're making, and
Yeah.
you know, we went from just having really 2 or 3 people on Sky a week,
Match of the day.
match of the day,
Yeah.
a group of leading journalists in this country, you know, Martin Samuel and those
Yeah.
guys. You remember they even had their own Sky
Yeah.
show to come
Sunday
and
papers.
talk their rubbish on
Yeah.
Sky as well. That was it.
Yeah.
Now we've got a whole thing where because of the internet and the
growth.
expansion of the game
Yeah.
and the growth and all of that, organizations are putting money in. People are making a living out of podcasting. People are making the pool of employment and opportunity of analyzing and commentating and opining in the game has got wider. Exactly from the same reason why more and more people are chasing. Yeah. So again, that will have to rebalance.
Yeah,
That will have to be
I think the
realised.
key thing is just balance. And it's what does that look like? Does it look like, okay, we play X amount of games, but your wages are capped here, or we're gonna just play you, and if you don't play, then we'll go to court over that, and etc. etc. What does that look like? So,
Yeah, I think it has to start with FIFA and UEFA alignment. That's the
Yeah.
first bit for me.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have this silly
kind of war.
One
Yeah,
association
yeah,
against
yeah.
Alpha,
Because
right?
remember the World Cup's expanded as well. Next World Cup.
Yeah,
as well,
next
isn't
World
it?
Cup's
Like,
gonna have 48 teams or something.
yeah, it's a ridiculous amount.
So we just had Euros.
That was expanded.
So we're gonna have Club World Cup, and then the year after that we're gonna have the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's mad. So the days of having
Summer
a
off.
summer without a tournament have probably gone.
Yeah. 3 weeks is going to be a 3-week break or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have one summer off.
Yeah, so the next one off will be 27.
Yeah,
But no, maybe. Yeah, because the Copa America was this year, wasn't it?
yeah,
I was thinking,
27, and then 28 will be
Euros.
Euros again, Olympics. Flip. That's absolutely crazy.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. And then that brings us on to the next point. So,
Shall I read the tweet?
yeah, please.
So this is a response to the Secret Scout, friend of the pod, etc.
Yeah.
Where I'll say that Alfie1977. Football these days is all about possession and it's boring. Keepers need to do better with their feet than hands. Defenders don't tackle. Wingers don't dribble. And there are no maverick players. Take me back to the 90s and noughties.
Absolute rubbish.
And why do you say that?
He said wingers don't dribble. That's a lie. That's a lie. Just look at this weekend's game. It's a lie. These weekend's games. It's a lie. I don't know who he supports or what leagues he watches, but wingers do dribble, man. They do dribble.
I think the percentage of wingers who dribble is less. And I think that's because the winger doesn't really exist anymore. You've got a wide forward who is a bit of a
They still
hybrid
exist.
player.
So what's Doku?
When last time Doku dribbled?
He did today. He did. Timber locked him up, but he did today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Savinho.
but I'm saying like the frequency, and I think
Salah.
if you take this person's tweet into context, I think he's looking at your standard 4-4-2, your wide men,
Well,
you're right-footed.
But that's the first problem with it then.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
know,
think it's standard
yeah.
4-4-2. That's the first problem with that.
No, I don't think. For me, I don't think it is the basic 4-4-2. I just think it's around the desires of seeing someone beating someone consistently and running at them. What you get is that if you use Savinho runs down the line, checks back in and pass a 5-yard pass inside, and then they go across. We're not seeing as many crosses as we used to, and maybe that's what he's complaining about. You're not getting as many 30-yard cross whipped in for a header. You know, like, but then the data also shows, remember, shots outside the box has gone down.
Yeah.
Didn't we have more goals in the Premier League than ever last season? Wasn't it a record number of goals?
Yeah, potentially. But I think it's about beauty on the eye, isn't it? I think that's what a lot of people are missing. And a lot of it is nostalgia.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
I think
a
it's
lot of it
misplaced
is
nostalgia.
Yeah.
We've just spent the last how many years waxing lyrical about the Man City team and how they play and that it might be the best club team we've ever seen. Before that, then Real Madrid. Before that, then the Barca team before that.
Oh, no.
Like, come on, bro.
I think there is a mixture of nostalgia, but I think there's also things like you look for someone like even if we look at KDB, we admire his passing, but he's not like a dribbler. But we do admire his passing, for example.
So that was one thing he said. What else did he say? He said dribblers don't dribble.
Defenders don't tackle.
Defenders don't tackle.
Keepers need to be better with their feet than hands.
Then what's wrong with that? Why is that a bad thing? I don't think that's accurate. I think keepers need to be good with their feet as well as their hands now.
Yeah, now they do.
Yeah. Why is that a bad thing?
I think that's a myth, though, that whole feet and hand thing. I think only like 5 keepers are really.
Exactly. We see some top keepers having to leave because they're not that great with their feet. We can probably count 5 keepers
who are really good with their feet.
Yeah. And even then, they're good with their feet for keepers.
Yeah.
So I think I don't agree, Alfie. Sorry, but I think if you look, I think the game's changed, and we just had a summer competition where most of the talk was about 2 wingers who gave their fullbacks absolute hell for 3 weeks, right? Yamal and Williams. Yeah. So I just think the game goes through phases.
That was 2 wingers. When you look at the Euros, how many other wingers were like causing havoc in that tournament?
Yeah, but again, I think...
But it's like John said, and we've had this discussion before, the evolution of football. Like, football is not going to stay the same going forward, and it hasn't been since, like there's been a lot of change since, like, the 2010s.
Yeah,
so to speak.
And
that's
now,
like a 10-year cycle.
And now we don't have to look in the same places for the quality. That's what I like about it. You don't only have to watch the top teams. You can watch Palace, Leicester, and see, no disrespect to those teams, but you can watch that game and see good finishing, good football, well structured teams. But back in the day, if you didn't watch a certain teams in any league, if you think about the whole of Europe, yeah, if you didn't watch the same 10 teams, the drop off in quality of the game, it was marked. It was a marked quality. The 10 teams at that time, I'm not saying it's the same 10 teams, but
of course not.
the teams that were good,
Yeah.
and everybody else.
But I'm trying to think.
So that nullifies, that balances out.
If I'm being like, because I just feel like there was games where I'd be like, I'm watching Bukayo today. Remember Bukayo was at who done a little bit of Barca, but then it was Villarreal.
Yeah.
So his biggest stint was Villarreal. It's just like I think there was like Del Piero. There was just I thought.
Well, bro, sometimes you watch back those games. Like you watch back some of
Yeah. So,
and I'm like, what was the other team doing? What are you man doing? Seriously, what you did? That's my only thing, and that's why to this day now we'll watch old Man United, Arsenal games or Liverpool, Chelsea games because no matter what area you're from, two quality teams come up against each other is a quality game.
Yeah.
If they stand the test of time, they're still going to be talking about the Liverpool Chelsea Champions League game, the goals that weren't goals, the Man United Arsenal stuff, the Liverpool Man City games. They're still going to be talking about those games because they were quality games, full stop. But sometimes you look back at some of these games, yeah, and you're like, what was that team doing? Yeah, Ronaldo did a madness, but today now, he's not running through 5 of you lot like that. It's not happening. It's not happening.
I don't know.
I just think that end's got better, and the game has evolved.
But do you think like based on like, could we talk about it on air, like the pattern of play, system football? Do you think the system football has also kind of, don't get me wrong, it's brought a level of quality in terms of tactical movement and that stuff. But then, do you think certain players that they love being on the ball, they're disencouraged from being on the ball, so they say touch and move?
I think in some positions, yes, and in other positions, no. I agree. I think you have to be a super, super talent to play centre mid now and want to look at Odegaard.
Yeah.
Like, more Declan Rices and Rodri's and stuff will come through now in that area of the pitch than Odegaard's.
Yeah.
Because, to your point, systems, blah, 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 blah. And actually, Odegaard probably makes at certain level now because without the ball, he's demonstrated that I can be silky with the ball, but you can trust me when we haven't got it, right?
Yeah,
Whereas some players who are good with the ball, but aren't that great without it, sorry, at top level ball now, that can't work.
Because we're gonna as you were speaking, I was just thinking of Bruno Fernandes. I'm like, he was that kind of new 10, innit? Like very little on the ball in terms of like holding onto the ball, but shooting and passing and running into the box.
Elite
was his kind of attributes.
Yeah.
But retaining it in tight spaces and etc. Nah. And he's got great.
There's a clip from yesterday's game where he lost it 3 times in the space of like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
see, as much as I'm not a big Bruno fan, I hate clips like that. Because
it didn't look good.
You can watch the rest of the game and he played all right. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. We all watch football for slightly different things. I just like to watch the game for what is good at that time. So, do I miss the type of players we had before? The Ronaldinhos, the Ronaldos, those AC Milan versus Inter Milan games, Adrian. Yeah, I do. But that doesn't mean that the version of what we've got today isn't just as enjoyable.
True.
It's just without
It's
maybe
just
the players that are my favourites. Yeah.
It's just different.
Do you think like the bar has been set low in terms of hold on. Wait. In terms of when I'm in the bar, like in terms of what is very good technical players, like sometimes do you just think we're giving certain players status that they don't deserve? Like,
as I said before, the gap from top to bottom has shrunk exponentially.
I think it's harder now.
Like,
I think there's players before, their technical ability was lower, well, especially in England, and they got a blind because they were tall, or they ran a lot, or they tackled hard, or they had heart, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you haven't got a certain level of technical ability,
I agree.
Yeah.
Forget
it, mate.
Like Michael Brown's not getting through.
Yeah, bruv.
Ben Thatcher.
I think is it Andy O'Brien? One of the worst players I've seen in the Prem.
Oh wow.
He was at Bolton. I remember watching him.
Didn't he play for Portsmouth as well?
I think he played for West Ham as well. I just remember watching this guy play against Arsenal. He kicked the ball out of touch about 6 times with no pressure.
You can't be a bruiser. You can't just get. You can't,
those days are done. I think
you can't get around on heart. Like you can't sustain it.
But inevitably, by doing that, by bringing that stand up at the bottom, it can make what was the top look more run of the mill, more
Yeah,
average.
that's
my
what's
point.
happening. Yeah, that's what's happening.
That's natural. That's natural.
So I'm thinking of like the Highlands and Xerxes.
Yeah, but they're good players. Look, just say what you want to say in it. Just say what you want to say. Just say what you want to say.
Certain guys, like certain players across all teams, are getting like certain qualities or shouts that titles
they don't deserve.
that they don't deserve.
Listen, what business getting around is
I'm gonna get there. Let me land.
Okay,
Let me
okay,
land.
right.
So, for example, I've heard a friend of mine has said that Xerxes is techie, and I tried to kind of quantify what does he mean by techie. And I've heard certain fans on other pods saying, "Oh, he's techie," or he's technical. And in my head, I'm thinking, he's Chris Wood's level. And if we're talking about techie, then I'm expecting you to. I'm
that's no disrespect to Chris Woods. He's a Premiership player.
No,
right?
he's very competent technically and etc.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like Zlatan, Berbatov, Bergkamp, Van Persie, Messi, Suarez.
The elite.
All right, but who's playing now? Who's playing now that you say is techie? Who's playing now? Like, if someone said they're techie, you'd be like, okay. Who's playing now that's techie?
This is it. I don't think right now I can't think of a striker that is like techie. Like if I think Odegaard's techie.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Foden's techie.
Palmer? Oh, Palmer?
Palmer's got a swag in his tackle. Like he brings it down in a certain way, layoffs. And
Is this
stuff
about aesthetics though?
It is.
It is 100%.
Like I say, it's about being
but
pleased on the
Suarez
eye.
wasn't. No, but Suarez wasn't easy. Suarez did stuff that was techie, but he looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
No, he did.
He looked
He was
clumsy, but
unrefined at times.
yeah. But because of how often he did it and the output, you knew that he knows exactly what he's doing. But let's be honest.
The thing, like Suarez wasn't clean with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like a lot of them, like Ronaldo.
Wait. He didn't look clean with it, but he was clean with it. He just didn't look it.
No, but there was times where the way you bring it down, just trap it on his chest.
Yeah, but he just looked like he was all over the place. But he was
that to Suarez.
No, but
So
that's what I'm trying to distinguish between aesthetics and tech. That's what I'm saying. Look at Saka, the Liverpool defender.
Oh, Saka.
He
days.
looked nuts. But I said, well, there must be something the professionals know that I don't know. He looked like he was skating on ice every time I saw him.
Yeah.
But he just looked that way.
One of our friends said, this guy is always on the floor whenever I turn the TV on. He's
So
never on his
not to
feet.
compare to that, but that's what sometimes someone is not pretty on the eye, but it doesn't mean they haven't got tech.
No, and I know that. But when I'm quantifying techie, I'm saying how you bring down the ball, like the unnecessary back heel, but it's going to the person. Man's just bringing it down and playing people in. Like that's nothing techie.
Yeah. I guess what you're saying. He's doing the basics well, and people
He's
are
just doing the basics really well, and then he's giving himself a 9.5 title, which is nonsense. Yeah, which is nonsense. Like I'm a 9.5, and certain fans are backing that up. Nonsense. But it doesn't quantify techie. So my friend Duran, I'm naming him.
Oh wow,
I'm naming him.
Yeah?
Whoa, governments as well.
Full government is saying man's techie, and as far as I'm concerned, right now, there's only a handful of techie players in the Prem, and he's not one of them.
Fair enough.
All right. That's that. Yeah, the way if you want to sue, you sue Bins, innit? Not the Centre Circle podcast.
Yeah.
Look, before we go, last one quickly. Vincent Kompany in Bayern Munich. So there was lots of chatter about how he's failed upwards. He got barely relegated, but he's got the Bayern Munich job. Blah, blah, blah. We were all like, well, for once, a person of colour has failed upwards, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen, right? So Bayern have started pretty well.
5-5.
5-5. Elise's out there looking like he's fulfilling his potential. Harry Kane has carried on scoring.
Yeah, broken a record in Champions League. First team to score 9.
Do the Kompany doubters have egg on their face yet?
I say it's too early for them to have egg on their face, but the way it's looking,
it's not good, is it?
It's not looking good at all. And I wasn't skeptical that he got the job. I was more kind of like, they've actually taken the time out to go for someone like Kompany. More surprised. And I don't know if you saw his interview last week, in terms of kind of his character, and he came from humble. Why are you rolling your eyes? No, but I think it builds into
The story.
Yeah, the story of kind of how
I'm
he's
not
got
rolling
there.
my eyes at him and the story. It's just
Look like you were. I'm not gonna lie.
everything is just so. It's a thing, isn't it? You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of more direct Roberto Martinez. Like you just can't have a normal. Everything with him is a saying. It's almost a speech. It's almost a bro. Just answer the question.
Yeah, and yeah, I think fair play to him, man. Like he's got Bayern Munich playing well.
Yep.
He's had to manage kind of phasing out Muller, who's one of the greats. Like he's the all-time appearance and goal scorer recently.
Yeah.
He's managed that. He's bringing in the younger guy, so Elise started off really well in Bayern Munich. People like, how's he going to do, etc. Stepping into Champions League team. Looks like he's settled in fine.
He's going to have gone in there, managed existing egos.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a young manager himself. Man, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing.
Can I say? Remember, I was backing him though.
Listen,
I just want to.
I'm not gonna lie. My thing is, I think I said this time. My main thing was, if it's too early for him and he goes there and that shows, it's a step back.
Mash him up in it.
But I was very happy that he fell upwards. I was happy.
Yeah,
I was happy about that. I just thought it was crazy. So I hope that he proves me and everyone else wrong continually. I'm just waiting because Bayern is a bit like the Dutch team. Like there's always some little personality crisis ready to kick off.
Yeah, he's had no test yet.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for that to happen because he's got a very strong personality. We've seen that footage at various clubs now where he's got a very strong-minded personality. He believes in a lot of what's the word? I don't want to say standards because there's nothing wrong with that. But okay, I'll give an example. I saw a video yesterday where I think it was at Burnley. A player put the shirt on the floor after the game, right? Like you're doing lots of teams. You can't be putting the shirt on the floor. People would die to wear this shirt and be where you are. Make sure you put it in the basket. Stuff like that. And the players looking at him like, am I 10?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? But there's lots of symbolic things for him.
Yeah.
So hopefully, everyone learns from job to job. Over the season, the mixture of the type of players that are there, the hierarchy as well. You know, it's Bayern. There's lots of people there with long histories and very important game. And his own thing, it still works out nicely. So what are you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, I think when they appointed him, like we knew they made that appointment, but they're looking at the data at Burnley as well, like what he done in the Championship, the records he broke in the Championship as well.
I'm still not, but that how you've done in the Championship cannot be any kind of barometer as to how you're going to do at Bayern.
It can be.
What, at Bayern and the Champions League?
Pardon?
Because remember, when you go to Bayern, it's not just about the league.
But
I know disrespect to the league, that's kind of by the by. It's about the Champions League for that club.
No, I hear you. It's about the Champions League, but I'm saying they're looking at data in terms of, all right, possession turnovers, sustained possession, passes completed, etc. There's a playing style that they thought that's going to work with our team. We're looking at the quality. We're looking at the data. Yeah, there's that, and there's obviously the mentality.
I'll be honest. I think it was more about him and his ideas and what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it, rather than any empirical evidence from the Championship.
You don't think they looked at him in the Premiership with the team and what he was trying to do with the squad and the formations and the pattern of play he was playing?
I think I think they would have looked at that, but I think Kompany the man gets that job, not Kompany the manager.
And I agree with that, but I also agree that
it's got to be a bit of both.
It's a bit of both.
To a degree.
No, but I think the step up from what he did to get to Bayern Munich
is more to do with
is the Kompany the man.
Yeah. I think
is more of a more in
the
that
data
balance.
got him to the room, and he got himself the job basically.
But the data's gonna get you the entry.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And we all know that he was not their first choice, right?
Yeah, he was like
that was very clear in German circles. So
and even
again, I'm glad he got the job. Don't get me wrong.
That's like credit to him because he would have gone in there knowing he wasn't top 10.
Yeah. No, but that's what I said. I think it's Kompany. I think it's, and that's why a lot of what he said in that press conference tells to what he's like. He's like, well, listen, I'm not gonna dwell on the fact that maybe I wasn't supposed to be. I was too early. I'm here now, so I'm gonna do my thing. I believe in myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair. So yeah, let's see, and big shouts out to Michael Elise. You can say what you like about the German league, but you still have to play. Still got to do it. Playing the Champions League. He's taken to like a duck to water. So
yeah. And I think just looking at him from the Olympics, he just looks like he's got a different mentality now.
Yeah,
he's just like, I belong here, and I want to let
And
everyone
he's
know.
made the
see it.
step up to the
He's made
full
the-
national team now,
Exactly.
based off the Olympics. So
Exactly.
yeah, big
So
up.
yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see. All right, that's it. That's it from us. We'll see you next week for more fun and games. Peace.
Peace.